What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another new alternate universe video. This is a shout out to a fan who gave me this idea, and I wanted to do it for him because, he was very determined to get this what if out, and I said, hey, I respect your determination, and let's get this started. Let me just switch to his profile. Boop. Shouts out to King Jaden, if I said that right, King Jaden Johnson. Shout out to you. This is your what if idea. You deserve the shout out. You deserve the termination of the shout out because you're the one who actually gave me this idea and was determined to want me to, do the what if. So, shout out to you and you deserve the best. Alright, we're back to the video. Now, this will basically, like I said, be what if Deku was Bowser. Now, how would this happen? Is it going to be reincarnation? Is it going to be a quirk? What is it going to be CB? Well, we're basically just going to do just birth. Now, how would this be just birth? Well, we're going to start off with Inco. Inco is basically, Bowser. Not like, you could say she's like Inco Bowser. People make fun of her and call her Bowser Inco, or Ink Bowser, you could say. As for her, she doesn't look like Bowser, but she has like the powers of Bowser, as she can shoot fireballs out her mouth, turn into a skeleton. She only has like two transformations she can only do, as she can turn into a massive giant, and she can turn into, well, no, this only turned into a giant. That's all she can do. She has no other transformations of Bowser's, as Cow Bowser, Skeleton Bowser, or you could say Bones Bowser, or you know, that. I think there's like, we're just gonna say Metal Bowser just in case if it is a Metal Bowser, and she also has the flying cloud thing, and she can also shoot fire, blue fire, but she doesn't really care. She doesn't become a hero or a villain because we're gonna say her family is a lineage of Bowser's, as some became heroes, some became villains, but no one really dare question them or try to like shame them because they can easily destroy the city. That's how powerful they are, and they have a castle. So Inko is a heritage of she has a castle. Yeah, it's passed down to family members. But we're gonna say, since we're gonna say her grandparents lives in the castle, we're gonna say one is like they say. We're gonna say the family line of lineage has three different types: the wizard Bowser, the plain Bowser, as just regular that shoots fire and stuff, and also the unique Bowser, as they have those mixed combinations of all their transformations. Inko is more like the lineage of, she doesn't have all the transformations, but she has the giant Getu one, and pretty much the metal one, and she can operate the cloud. No one can operate the cloud thing unless they're a Bowser. That cloud thing where Bowser be flying, having thing to fly around with and stuff, and shoot bombs and all that, and rockets and cannons. Yeah, that. But let's switch. Yeah, let's basically continue the story. Basically, Inko, she meets a guy, and we're gonna say she meets hmm for shits and giggles. Actually, not for shits and giggles. Let's say for development. Let's do All For One. We're gonna say All For One is in his young years before he got that accident and stuff, and he meets Inko. Inko and All For One make hit it off pretty well, and they have that one night stand, and all that. Now after they have that one night stand, Inko pretty much leaves the hotel, pretty much saying it was good and whatever, and just leaves, and All For One leaves, and everything happens the same. Now this is where Inko gives birth, and Deku, he has a malfunction. Well, Inko doesn't. Her quirk is really. I'm gonna say her quirk is still the same as the telekinesis one, where you can move, lift up stuff slowly and stuff, and all that. She can do it as a long extent for like she can lift up stuff, but she can't like make stuff like she can't throw people around or anything. She can't. Well, she can lift people up with telekinesis or hold them still, but she can't like do like the sands move and lift them up and down and all that shit or mess with their body parts or all that. But she can lift people, but that's it. Um, but yeah, Deku pretty much has his mom quirk, but it got taken away. But the whole Bowser thing, that's genetic in him, so he basically will be born with the horns and stuff. So he'll basically have power, like have all Bowser's abilities and stuff. Well, let's just continue the story and you'll see. Basically, as Deku's born, Inko's smiling and stuff, and saying happy that she has a baby boy, and it's not in the hospital. It's in her castle because the castle's quite big and it has multiple rooms and stuff. It's also a ghost room. How she has ghosts in there that just defend the treasure and shit. Because what the hell, a castle can't have a place with treasures and shit. So might as well have it. Yeah, but pretty much this is where Deku's born, and the grandma, the wizard grandma, Bowser. She's pretty much smiling and saying, "Ah, it's a beautiful boy. You did good, Inko. I'm glad that I get to see my grandchild." Which, this is where Inko pretty much saying, "Yeah." After you was constantly nagging about it, which she says, "What you say?" Well, she says nothing because the wizard in the family. We're gonna say the wizard Bowser's are pretty strong. Yeah, pretty strong in their own way. But yeah, let's continue. Pretty much, this is where Deku is born and stuff, and we're gonna start with 5-year-old Deku still in kindergarten. This is where Deku meets Baku and stuff, and they become friends and stuff. And Deku does have the telekinesis, so Deku does have a quirk. And he doesn't really get bullied by Bakugo. They're really good friends. And Deku now Bakugo think he has multiple quirks because Deku can you basically shoot fire stuff, and he accidentally grows big on accident. Well, turns into a giant one time in front of Bakugo, which Bakugo says, "Whoa, you have a gigantic quirk?" Which Deku says, "Oh no, it's actually in the family tree, which my mom has." Which pretty much Bakugo is just flabbergasted. And we're gonna say Deku, acts, yeah, basically shows that and shoots fire at his mouth when he burps, which Bakugo is impressed. Now, this is where Bakugo gets his quirk, and the same as Ryu happened in Canon, he gets his quirk and he begins to start getting cocky. We're gonna say one time, this is as usual, Bakugo starts bullying a kid, and Deku comes in the way to, defend the kid. Now, this is where Bakugo tells Deku to move out the way, which Deku says, "No, Kashan, this is not the right way. We don't have to, you don't have to do this. That's actually that's like a villain thing," which Bakugo says, "What you say, Deku?" And pretty much throws a big explosion at, we're gonna say accident throws a big explosion at Deku. This is where Deku turns into metal, which pretty much closes his eyes and block. Well, doesn't close his eyes, but turns into metal, which Bakugo sees and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Deku. Are you okay?" Which Deku says, "It's alright, Kanshan. I turned myself into metal." Which Bakugo is just extra flabbergasted because he, which Deku says, "It's all thanks to you," which Deku thanks Bakugo, but he also punches Bakugo. Oh well, punch him on his head, saying that was pretty dangerous. He could have killed him. Which Bakugo start crying, saying he's sorry. Now we're gonna do a time skip, and this is where we do the start of the enemy. Now, of course, this is where Deku looks different with his red hair, red eyebrows, red eyes. Does Bowser got red eyes? Probably. Uh, and he has sharp nails, and he wears a bracelet on his neck, a nail bracelet like those Spike edgy punk bracelet on his neck, arm, top arm, and short arm. I mean, on his wrist too. And he still has the horns on his head. He's loved by girls. He does have a tail, but he doesn't have a shell because he doesn't have a shell yet. I mean, he does have a shell, but he can activate it on will as he can summon the shell and like go in there to protect itself, or does a spin to do attack spins with his shell. But yeah, pretty much yeah. This is where the girls are flirting with Deku and stuff, but Bakugo gets the flirt too, but they flirts with Deku even more, saying, "Oh wow, he's strong and stuff," and saying, "Are they gonna go out later?" And Deku has that little bit of a different personality. As he has that, I'm the best, and he knows he's the best because Bakugo's in second. Yes, Bakugo's in second because Deku has a lot of abilities that Bowser has, and he has a flying cloud. I mean, a flying thing. That smiling flying thing, which he has his own custom one, which is pretty much like green. It's pretty much green, but it has the smiling face, but it's like a clown smiling face with the stars and stuff. But yeah, Deku has a flying one, and it flies around until Deku, jumps out the window. Because we're gonna say one time in the middle school, Deku jumps out the window, pretty much hopping on his cloud and flying away to go home and stuff. And sometimes he rides with Bakugo, you know, to go to the movies and stuff and all of that. But let's continue. Pretty much, yeah, the girls are pretty much asking Deku to, well, when they're gonna go out to the movies or something. Which the other girls fighting, which Deku says, "Calm down, ladies. We can all go to the movies together and watch the movie together." Which they all like scream in excitement and stuff. Now, this is where, of course, the teacher comes in and pretty much says that he says, of course, and does the same thing in canon. Now, this is where he looks at the thing. He says, "Oh, only two people signed up for the UA High, uh, Mizuku Midoriya and Bakugo, or Mizuku Bowser, because Deku last name is Bowser, Mizuku Bowser and Bakugo, which the two students look at Bakugo and Deku and they say, well, yeah, they're gonna get in there. Bakugo, I don't know about him. But I know his quirk is in there, so he might probably get there. But Deku, they know he's guaranteed is going to get in there because, well, he's motherfucking Bowser, you could say. Which they call him Bowser. For sure. They call him motherfucking Bowser. So yeah, he's dangerous. But let's continue. Pretty much after school, this is where Bakugo and Deku is walking together home, pretty much chilling and stuff. This is where, of course, the Sludge Villain comes in and charging at Deku. Charging at Deku and Bakugo. This is where he wraps around Deku and saying, "Your body's mine, kid." This is where Deku begins to get very furious, and he begins to lit out a fire, pretty much, which the Sludgeman is saying, "What's that burning stuff?" He's like, "What the?" And he begins to turn into ash. This is where, of course, Deku flexes his muscles and and pretty much just turn the Sludgeman into dust, saying, "Don't you dare touch me again." And this is where he says, "Bucko, you alright?" Which Bucko pretty much looks at the Sludgeman and asks, "Is he dead?" Which Deku says, "Yes, he is dead. Now let's go." Which Bucko says, "Alright." And they pretty much go. Now, this is where, of course, All Might jumps down, and pretty much Deku sees All Might and says, "Oh, hey, All Might. Oh my god, it's All Might." Which Bakugo says, "Oh, cool, it's All Might," which they pretty much, gets All Might autograph, which All Might asks, have they seen the such one, which Deku and Bakugo says, yeah, he's over there, which All Might says, "Oh, okay. What happened to him?" Which All Might's confused, which Bakugo says, "Oh, I pretty much accidentally, I pretty much accidentally burnt him to crisp because he almost came in all," which All Might says, "Oh, it's okay." And he pretty much says that's an amazing quirk he has, explosion and stuff. Which All Might leaves and thinking of Bakugo to be the next successor, you could say. Now, after that, Deku pretty much go home and stuff, and he's pretty much thinking of the 2 months, not 10 months training. So he pretty much called Bakugo and asked, can they train together so they can get ready for the UAs and for the 10 months training. Of course, Bakugo agrees and they start to train together. Now, as they're training, Buck goes, does his explosion stuff and all that, and Deku's pretty much, testing what else abilities he has, and he's thinking, what else abilities does he have as they're fighting each other. This is where Deku thinks, and he says, and Bakugo, we're gonna say Bakugo, as he's training, he sees accidentally, he actually does a a shoulder bomb, shoulder explosion, or elbow explosion, right at Deku's face. This is where Deku starts thinking, and he's like, as he's about to get hit by it, he says, can I turn into a skeleton? Which this is where he immediately gets hit by the explosion. But when he gets hit by the explosion, this is where Deku blocks the explosion, and he's pretty much as a skeleton right now with the white hollow eyes, which Bakugo says, "What the?" And Bakugo backs up, well, starts falling back and says, "What?" Which Deku says, "What is this?" And he starts thinking. He calls it, well, the transformation, uh, dust bones or bone Bowser, you could say. He says, "I think I'll call this transformation Bone Bowser," which um, Bakugo says, "Bone Bowser," which he pretty much test out if he can shoot fire. He shoots out white fire and stuff, and he says, "Huh, okay, I think I like this transformation. I'll save it for the right time." And this is where they continue training. Now, Bakugo would get much stronger since he, trains with Deku, and he took his training serious with Deku, so he will be much stronger as original in canon. Deku, well, you could say is already strong. You could say, and you could say he has a little bit of a mixture quirk of explosion due to off one. But yeah, let's continue. This is where Deku is walking with Bakugo pretty much the next day, and he, puts Bakugo up in his cloud thing and says, "You ready?" Which he says, "Yeah," and they start riding to the UA exam. Now this is where Bakugo is, of course, eating breakfast. Why they're flying, and Deku says, "You got some breakfast for me?" Which he says, "Yeah, of course." And he gives Deku a sandwich, which Deku says, "You got that bologna sandwich?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Bet." And he starts eating. This is where Bakugo asks, "Why you never eat food at your house?" Which Deku says, "Because my fucking mom and grandma always trying to make me eat some rabbits and stuff, eat some live rabbits and stuff." Which Bakugo says, "For real?" Which Deku says, "Yeah." That was a small conversation. Y'all welcome. But let's continue. Pretty much this is where Deku and Bakugo ends up, you know, at the UA much earlier than everyone else because we're gonna say that thing is fast. I forgot the name of it. Y'all can put it down in the comments so I can, say it right. But yeah, pretty much Deku jumps off and Bakugo jumps off, and they head in there much earlier. Now they're pretty much waiting for the. Well, you pretty much they're waiting for everybody else, and everything happens the same. But Deku with the IQ thing, he's smart with the genetics of having Bowser, so yeah, he still does the IQ thing and passes that with ease. Pretty much reach in first. I think, yeah, I think first. So if he does fail at becoming a hero, he can take some other classes. But yeah, let's continue. Pretty much after that, this is where they go to the robot. Now the guy explains the thing. It says on your mark, get set, go, and they start going. Now as they're going, pretty much Bakugo starts using his explosion feet and crosses his arms and stuff because he knows how to do it and starts exploding his feet and stuff and going. This is where of course Deku gets start running with speed because he's not big like Bowser. He could turn into giant, which he's going to do that, but let's continue. He's pretty much running as fast. Well, running fast, right behind Bakugo, and he's destroying robots left and right, clawing them and stuff, shooting fire, burning them to ash and stuff. This is where, of course, he thinks he got enough points until the big robot comes in, and as the big robot coming in, this is where the girl is screaming, and it's a rocket. This is where he says, "Oh no," which he pretty much, makes himself giant and he begins to start walking, pretty much match up with the robot. This is where, of course, the robot tried to throw the hands with Deku until Deku bites his hand and rips it apart and pretty much just smacks the robot head off. Pretty much, and then he kicks the robot's body, sending it flying to the next building. This is where, of course, he shrinks himself back down, and pretty much gets Uraraka out the robot and asks if she's alright. But he says it in a cool way, saying, "Are you alright, princess?" Which she pretty much uh says yeah, and she pretty much looks at him and says, "Did you say princess?" Which he pretty much says yeah, which she blushes. And she pretty much says yes, yes, while stuttering. This is where of course the nurse comes in and he pretty much says bye. And yeah, he pretty much heads home. Now, well, after he heads home, he pretty much waits for Bakugo and they both head home while he takes Bakugo to to his house. Now, next day, this is where pretty much Deku is sleeping in his bed, relaxing. This is where his mom kicks open his door saying, "Son, you passed," which you pretty much is in the UA, which Deku was saying, "Why did you kick open the door?" Which this is where he looks and he says, "Oh shoot." Now this is part 1 of What If Deku Was Bowser. Yeah, guys, sorry about that, but this is it. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. If you want more of this, just give this up to like 20 likes. 20. Yeah, 20 likes. And I'll make another part. But I'm Keyshawn Ichia. Thanks for watching and peace out.
It looks like you lost another one.